it's the weird way like time kind of has that strange like, because it feels like we've been doing this forever, but it also feels like we haven't done shit yet.
Right.
Okay. So
it's because we're happy sad. I'm happy that I'm talking to my buddy, and I'm sad that I'm having a talk and be recorded.
Don't be. People are going to fucking eat this shit up, man.
I know. It's just that same part of my body that's sad when I stub my toe or sad when a car is about to crush me. It's like, oh my God, something bad's about to happen.
Oh, I was going to say, like... Strange memories on this nervous night in the compound. 5 months later, 6. Seems like a lifetime, or at least a main era. The kind of peak that never comes again. The compound studios in late October was a very special time and place to be part of. Maybe it meant something, maybe not, but no explanation. No mix of words or shitposts or jokes can touch the sense of knowing that you were there and alive in that corner of time in the world, whatever it meant. My central memory of that time seems to hang on 1 or 5 or maybe 40 White Claws in the very early morning afterwards. There was a madness in any direction, at any hour. It didn't come across the internet or across the CMN desk. You could strike sparks anywhere. There was a fantastic universal sense that whatever we were doing was entertaining, but we had all the momentum. We were riding the crest of a high and beautiful wave. So now, less than 5 months later, you can go up to that steep hill in the middle of the compound and look west. And with the right kind of eyes, you can almost see the high water mark, the place where the whole interview broke and rolled back. Oh, Lord. Man, how long have we been going at this point? We're like an hour and 15 in, but I still have so much more I could actually fucking say to you at this point.
You know why?
Because we're having a great time, because you're fucking badass.
Best interview ever.
It really fucking is. You have no idea. Let's see. Hang on, I'm going to look at your fucking thing here and see if I can...
Whoa. Really?
Please show it to me. Okay. Here's what we haven't talked about yet.
Mother
so,
of God.
you have a chaos magic study group, as it were. Right?
Ah, yes, the fun topic.
Yeah. And you've given some personal opinions about that group to me.
Yes, I have one of the most successful chaos magic groups, and I hate it. That's basically the duality of my man. Yeah.
That's the Wait, you have a chaos magic group and you fucking hate it?
Yes.
What is some kind of sick joke?
It's ridiculously popular, and it's not how I wanted it to be, and nobody understands that it was like a quirky experiment, and they think that it's my entire personality.
How could anyone think that that's your entire personality?
There are people who have sent me curses in my email after I blocked them on Facebook. They found my email and sent me curses because they thought that was my entire personality.
What the actual fuck? Like, you are one of the most multifaceted individuals I've ever met in my life. And I mean,
Nobody gets that the rules group was just like to see what would happen if we did the opposite of the no rules group.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the rules guy. I'm the fucking... I was the little skater punk guy.
Yeah, I'm
throwing rocks through windows.
I'm a fun guy.
Flipping off the... Yeah, I'm not the rules guy.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
really
the rules
aren't.
guy.
It was made in relation to, CMG, right? The fact that CMG was sort of at the time. It's not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was
that was my understanding, too, because when I made it, I was very early into this, and I had a very early understanding of everything. I was a noob. So when I made it, it was the opposite of CMG, because it was about civilized discourse and shit. And then as time went on, as it always does, you realize you're a fucking dumbass when you had a thought, and how dare you have a thought. There's plenty of serious discourse in CMG, and there's plenty of fucking shit posting in my group. It's not everything's not black and white.
I will even say at the time it was a lot more just fucking free for all Wild West shit posting, and you were more likely if you asked a serious question in CMG to get told
doxed.
Yeah,
you get doxed.
You get doxed. You get doxxed and then you get sent a dick pic, and it's like, this is magic.
Boom.
Right. But so, I mean, you kind of answered the question, I suppose. But as far as trying to create civilized discourse about chaos magic, did you have any success, you think?
I think I did, but at the same time, it's not what I thought it would be, which kind of goes back to be careful what you wish for. One of the things I've learned in this journey that is hating my own creations is you need a little bit of uncivilized. That's what keeps people shut up who don't need to be talking.
Yeah.
When you're too civilized, you give people a platform that have just a bunch of fucking empty space between their ears.
Yeah, and that goes back to the very beginning of the conversation, that it's like, why should you care about chaos magic? Not all of you should. Some of you need to just go.
Some of you, I wish
Some
would
of
die.
you need to go somewhere else with this fucking shit.
Please go get into football or something. I'm tired of you being into chaos magic.
That's something we could probably, talk a little bit more about. Like, what do you think it is that, like, what's the archetype of the person that shouldn't be into fucking chaos magic? Like, what's the big problem with people that you see and you go like, oh fuck, you just need to go do anything else. Go get into go learn how to do card tricks. Go learn how to fucking work on cars. Don't fuck with magic.
I think that's a two-parter. I don't have any single answers. Sorry.
No,
every
that's
answer
fine.
is a multi-part answer. But part one is you shouldn't be into chaos magic if you are literally the fucking exact opposite of everything that is the definition of chaos magic. I see so many people saying, yeah, I'm a chaos magician, and you have to do things a certain fucking way. And this, oh, by the way, let me share with you the objective truth that I have learned. Like, literally everything that chaos magic is about, they fucking somehow missed that memo. They don't believe in DIY. They don't believe in innovation. They want you to use the traditional methods. Like, why do you call yourself a chaos magician? Like, I get that there's a sentiment out there that anything is chaos magic, which I can also get into as one of my pet peeves, like everything is magic. But words have to mean something. Like, that's what we got going for us over most of the other animals on this rock. Words have to mean something for us to talk about shit. It has to mean something. Now, I'm not saying my definition is right and yours is wrong. Fucking, I understand that language evolves over time and the dictionary is playing catch up and it's like not this super strict thing. But for fuck's sake, it has to mean something. Not everything is magic. Not everything is chaos magic. That gets me to I'm going to just go right into my other pet peeve. People say anything is chaos magic. Anything can be chaos magic. Doesn't mean everything is chaos magic. If I go to church every Sunday and pray to baby Jesus because it's my temporary paradigm to get results and I'm experimenting with this new thing that is not normally what I believe to see if it works or not, it's chaos magic. If I go to church every Sunday and pray to baby Jesus because that's what my daddy did and that's what my granddaddy did and that's what my great-granddaddy did, it's not fucking chaos magic. So people need to pick their words better when they say everything is chaos magic. Everything can be chaos magic. You see a guy riding the bike down the road, he could just be riding a bike or he could be doing chaos magic. You don't know because it's fucking context matters.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree with that. When I had my moment and I came back to the magic community after being like, this is all bullshit and none of this fucking works because I had a bad time or whatever. Mm-hmm. The big thing that I came back with was a very staunch belief, and that's the problem with what I just said there, right? But it's a very hardcore belief that people's individual conceived beliefs aren't what's making chaos magic, quote unquote, work, right? And it's only because I subsumed the problem in a bigger kind of context, right? Where it became, it's not just if I walk around telling myself that I believe something every fucking day, that's what I actually believe. That we have deeper beliefs or rather a deeper, I've used the word background just because I've been around Herbert Dreyfus's fucking Heidegger shit for so long, right? But there's a deeper background of how we actually operate. And that's why I argue with people all the time about being like, you're not a spooky wizard, dude. You're literally just every other scientific materialist modern person with a fancier fucking layer on top where you can rationalize all your shit. The big thing I think is that when people get into chaos magic and try to just tell themselves that anything is chaos magic, everything, it's
because
really
they read it in a post once.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no thought that goes into a statement like that. It's the stupidest thing in the world. What separates you from anyone if everything is everything?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a greater reflection of like the sort of people would use to say like, oh, it's postmodernism, and that's the term that like the right wing people get really fucking up in arms about. Like, oh, it's all postmodernism. They're saying that morals aren't real and there's no objective reality and rah, 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 rah. Which is really just a fucking excuse to be mad about the fact that people don't believe in Judeo-Christian morality anymore. That's really what they want to say. Like, they come up with a great philosophical term like postmodernism. But what they really mean is that, like, people don't think that nuclear families are good anymore and they don't want to go to church on Sundays. Like, that's really what they're railing against. But it is sort of that idea of, like, when people get so detached from what language is actually trying to express. Not even because we can argue about definitions. That's an easy thing. That's what took me from being the guy that you met that just argued with motherfuckers on the internet to like trying to have real discussions with people. Is I just started asking people, okay.
We're the same guy, by the way.
We are.
I argue with people on the internet more than anyone I know.
I know, but and that's why I love you. Again, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. And I would literally undo anything in my past right now to make sure this conversation happened. But that being said, like, because if you just start asking people, okay, what do you actually mean by X? Like, in fact, even today I had that conversation, or yesterday because it's past midnight now. But because someone made a comment about ego. And I was like, well, okay, what's the ego? What do you actually mean when you're saying ego? Because That's
one of the classic ones, because
well, yeah,
people say it all the time, like, you have an ego, like, you think you're hot shit, and it's like, no, the ego is a sense of self. So it's like, are you talking about the clinical definition or the common parlance?
And that's exactly where it went. It's funny to think about the fact that, like, ego was not a word that was just in the Western lexicon at the time. Like, it wasn't just a word that people used. Like, people didn't know what the fuck that meant. When it first, got used, it was, like, a very serious, like, clinical definition. When Freud was talking about the ego, it was a very different thing than the way we use ego now, just because it's become so permeated. But I started asking, like you say, you start asking people what they actually mean, and you can quibble about definitions and get to what we're actually talking about. But when people will actively just say that, like, it doesn't matter what I actually mean by this word anymore because nothing fucking means anything. There's no actual, like you said, like, I can sit here and just come up with whatever definition I need for the moment. It's sophistry, I guess. What I think most of these people, when they have these kind of conversations, devolve into is that what they want is to be right. That's all it's really about. Right. And they will come up with any fucking mental gymnastics, and it doesn't matter what the fuck you're actually trying to talk about, because they'll just come up with whatever fucking reason or rationale they need with whatever word you fucking use to get to the point that they can say that nothing fucking actually means anything, and I'm right because I'm saying that nothing fucking means anything.
Yeah, people get so into semantics.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite kind of post, when some asshole comes on and he's like, I was thinking about it the other day, and if you go far enough into chaos, it's order. And I'm like, who fucking cares? Bro, that's just two labels. If you go into one label, it's another label. Like, literally doesn't fucking matter what you label. The word just is a fucking label for a concept. Do what you're doing And then people do the same thing with like invocation and evocation because half the people in the fucking world think that they're the opposite ones. Doesn't fucking matter.
Absolutely meaningless.
What you're actually doing is what matters. What the fucking label is on it doesn't matter. I can't think of a more fucking boring conversation than what is chaos? That's what you get on Facebook groups. They're like, huh, what is chaos? I think if you have enough chaos, it's actually order. I think chaos is the opposite of order. Ooh, hot take. I think that if you go far enough down chaos, it becomes order and then it becomes chaos again. And then and it's like you're literally just fucking, bro, do something. Go get a result. Go fucking do a practice. Stop just talking about definitions. Because if you just switch to another language, they're all different. Like,
could you imagine if most chaots spoke more than one language?
They're just labels. They're just words. Go do the thing.
That's the problem too. If they spoke more than one language, right, they would just argue about different fucking definitions with different languages.
Right.
That's all it would turn into.
Yeah.
The long and short of, I guess, what this conversation has turned into is, for all the listeners, go do something.
Go do something.
Please.
Anything. Coming from a guy who wanted to practice motionlessness and breathing for 9 months before he did something. Go fucking do something.
Literally fucking anything.
Because at least I was doing motionlessness. Like,
right.
I wasn't doing nothing. Don't just fucking read about it and argue about it. Go fucking do it.
Well, actually, you know what? Here's a good thing because, again, I will fight up and down with literally anyone online and anyone who fucking hears this goddamn thing. I will fucking come to your house with a goddamn golf club and go to your fucking kneecaps about this.
He killed me.
Matt is probably one of the fucking best goddamn magicians I know. Hands fucking down. He really fucking is. So, if you have any advice for anyone doing fucking magic right now, aside from just fucking do something, what would you want to tell them?
Oh, fuck. That's like one of those hard questions because there's so many different answers. I have so much advice. Use a sock before you join CMG. You'll get doxxed.
That's not where I thought that was going to go. Use a sock before you do essential.
Here's one. Read a fucking book. Do not get your information from what your buddy Bob said on the Facebook group. Do not get your information from a fucking meme. Yes, I understand before you attack me for fucking saying Lieber Null's the Bible and Peter Carroll's Jesus. I understand the book is not the end, but you should at least read the fucking book. It's not the end all be all, but go read a fucking book. And if you don't have time or interest enough to read a book, go get into football. Because... yeah, I'm not saying you gotta pour over books fucking 8 hours a day or anything.
Dead ass.
But if you are too lazy or...
as someone who fucking did a goddamn study group on Lieber Null, it is not that fucking hard to read.
Yeah.
It is not that long of a book. And I don't just say that as someone that, like, goes ham over fucking philosophy books that are actually complicated and hard and shit to read, but I mean it. It is not hard. It is no harder than fucking Harry Potter or 50 Shades of Grey to read, and it's a billion times more fucking helpful. Even if you come out of reading Lieber Null being like, I don't think magic's actually real, and I don't think any of this shit actually works, your life will be significantly better just having read that than reading goddamn fucking, Percy Jackson and the fucking cock thief for the billionth time.
Yeah, or at least if your conclusion is that magic's not real and it's stupid, at least that will come from having actually learned something about it instead of fucking heard it through the grapevine. Because let me tell you, the grapevine is full of stupid assholes. I've met a lot of them running a group.
He's in a room with them right now.
I banned a bunch of them. Which gets me called a Nazi.
I gotta ask now. What was the dumbest fucking thing that someone tried to post in your group?
Oh, Jesus Christ. A lot of it is just, God help me, I don't mean to shame anyone's artwork. But some of it just people will post this thing that's like the Charlie Day conspiracy meme where it's like, blah, 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 and they're like, it's a stick man and a fucking this and a symbol. And it's like, I'm sure that meant a lot to you, but you're not explaining it to us, so it doesn't mean anything to us. It just looks like something a fucking 2-year-old drew.
Yeah. Okay.
And were you on acid when you drew that? And it made a lot of sense because it doesn't. I'm not on acid right now, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Looks like you drew. Looks like you're posting your children's artwork and asking everyone to join your religion over it because you think it's the deepest thing you've ever seen. A lot of the stupidest ones are just these weird squiggles and shit that they're like, fucking just blew my mind. This is the deepest fucking thing I've ever. This is going to solve all humanity's problems. This fucking stick man is standing next to this stick man, and there's a fucking star in between them. It doesn't mean anything to anyone who's not on the drugs you're on.
I don't know if you're on Reddit or anything like that, but there was this page that someone was like, I work in a mental asylum, and someone shared this, and I saw it go fucking literally everywhere in like every magic group I was in, even the ones that were like, this is not like the ones that are like dedicated to like PGM or like fucking Golden Dawn and shit and stuff like that, and it's literally just like all the basic fucking like magic stars and shit like that, like there's the 8-point star and the 7-point star and stuff, and then just like random math equations, and then just the most random fucking things about like
it looks smart.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Look how smart this looks. And that is so reductive of fucking mental asylums too.
Right.
Because like of course everyone goes there. Like of course there's someone in a mental asylum would be super into magic, and you'd find something like that. And there'd be someone in a mental asylum who's perfectly into like poetry, and you'd find that. And there's someone in a mental asylum who likes to draw portrait art, and you'd find that. Like, it doesn't mean that the two are fucking inherently linked or anything. You'll find anything there because literally everyone has problems from time to time, and we're not just this caricature of a crazy person.
Right. Well, I think there's a certain romanticism about like mental health and magic, right?
Ugh.
Especially someone that like dealt with mental health issues while they were being a magician. I think both of us have, right? There's. Yeah. I'm more than willing to say that there's no correlation to bad mental health and being good at magic. There is not. In fact, getting away from magic helped me with my mental health more than anything. Granted, I did it by
I'm feeling
fucking up
out.
really bad with magic and then being like, all right, I'm going to go read some philosophy, and then that brought me back to magic. But at the same time, like, there's no... I think it's sort of the same thing as, like, the tortured artist kind of idea, right?
Yeah, it's almost like a H.P. Lovecraft thing where it's like, ooh, madness equals something supernatural. And it's like, no, not so much.
Yeah, maybe you just need some therapy and some medication, possibly.
Yeah.
Doesn't that insult your fucking intelligence right now that you to think that, hey, maybe I'm not a super spooky fucking awesome wizard. Maybe I just really need some help for the moment. Yeah.
You said that recently too. You said something about how, I think it might have been in the Benjamin interview. Love Benjamin, by the way. Where sometimes the answer to your mental health problem is not magic. In fact, sometimes just going to therapy would work a lot better than magic.
Oh yeah, that was in the pot, because I was talking about, back to the I want to throw a fireball fucking thing, right? Yeah, we were talking about, if you want to get rich, there's easier ways than doing magic for it. That actually comes from Christopher Hyatt, if you know Christopher Hyatt or not.
So anyway, I looked up a therapist and signed up. So like that
literally
had an effect on my life.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Your podcast.
I mean...
So now I got a therapist.
Yeah? How's it going? Is it good?
They haven't returned my message yet. So still really early in the process.
Oh, okay.
But it's a thing that the ball is rolling on.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'll
It was last night.
Really? I will dish a little bit of myself here. I had some very big issues, legal issues, when I was in fucking middle school of all things.
Oh shit.
But yeah, I got thrown out of school and all sorts of shit. There's a court case and all kind of bullshit, right? But part of the end of it was I had to go see a counselor for a while. And at the time, I was like, this was dumb shit and I didn't need to do it. But in hindsight, that might have been one of the most formative and helpful experiences in my life.
Oh, nice.
even down to the point that, like, I had a girlfriend that I was really fucking into, and I was just like, I loved this woman with all my heart, and I was going to do everything to be with her for the rest of my life. I was fucking teen. You know
Right, like
mean?
every 13-year-old.
Right, and he just looked at me at one point when I said this stuff, and he's like, you know, you might, because it was like, her parents
You might hit her tomorrow.
After all this shit, her parents hate me, and they don't want me to date her, and they don't want to see it. And he looked at me and said, you should just find another girlfriend.
You know this isn't going to happen, right?
Like, you know, like, this is not a good idea. You should probably just give up on this. And I was like, no, I'm going to fucking do it. But in hindsight, having gone through all the bullshit, I was like, you know, that was probably some of the best advice I've gotten in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like very...
If only there was a way to harness raw power of how you feel when you have a crush when you're a teenager. That's like the most powerful feeling in the world.
It really is. I have 3 albums that I recorded when I was a child that are kind of a testament to that. And they're terrible albums, obviously, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at the time. And I was like, this is, you know, we had the conversation about like, oh, how'd you get into all the audio stuff and everything? And it's like, well, trial and error mostly, by being like, I'm going to plug a Rock Band microphone into my USB and record a whole album.
That's how I learned everything I know too.
I mean,
trial and error.
I mean, well, again, in the spirit of chaos magic, that's how you fucking learn. Fuck around, find out. I think more than anything, the biggest thing you can learn from having those kind of deep, hardcore emotions, right, is that if you make something your whole goddamn world, if you really focus on the important thing, quote unquote, you can make ridiculous goddamn things happen. Because I was an incredibly shy, unassuming little boy, and I went to this girl's school, mom. Her mom worked at a school, and I went to her fucking school and talked to her and asked her, like, hey, can I please still date your daughter? Even though I have just been thrown out of school and I have a court case.
Oh
and she let me, because I was like, she's like, you know what? You literally walked like 1.5 miles up to this school, and, you know, it's like, you clearly care about my daughter, I guess.
That's awesome.
You know, that's what I'm getting at, though. Like, you know, the point isn't what I did, because that was a terrible idea. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just listened to the counsel and gotten another girlfriend. But
when you go the extra mile, though,
right,
you get the result.
Yeah, well, and you know, it's back to the chaos magic thing. If you really fucking believe this shit, if you make this thing that will probably seem insignificant to the vast majority of the population, and be like, this is the fucking thing I have to do, you can get results that are well beyond reason and any other normal fucking facet of reality, right?
Yep.
Ugh. Well, holy fuck. We have gone for well over 100 minutes. So...
I can do this all day.
I know you could. And
Captain America.
You guys don't know what Matt looks like either, too. The best part is that Matt is totally like, if I had to pick one of my friends and be like, this is probably the closest to fucking Captain America, Matt is the one I would pick. The man is gorgeous, and he's tall, and
you're gorgeous,
fucking
and you're just as tall.
He's just trying to cover for himself. He's like, no, I don't want him to know my height. They'll dox me.
They're
but
everywhere.
With that, I think we have to move on to the final segment of all our interviews. And everyone knows exactly what it is. It's our wonderful, wonderful segment, Questions from the Nuts.
Oh, yes!
He loves it. He's fucking happy about it.
I just was remarking yesterday that I don't deal with enough nuts. So I would love to have a direct line of communication between the nuts and myself.
You do realize if you went to like all of your various social medias and just said,
that is also what I look like.
Oh my god, you're fucking adorable! I'm sorry, Matt just showed me a photo of his younger self, and holy hell, he was fucking beautiful.
The cutest little girl. There I was when I looked like a stick insect.
I wish I had online available photos of myself, because you just be like, oh my god, it's a blimp. Oh, shit. Okay. Alright. So, I'm just going to go down the list here, and you feel free to answer them as you see fit. Sound good?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we kind of answered this one already, but I'll go ahead and do it just normally I would skim over this one, but we've had such a long conversation, I don't even know what the fuck we talk about at this point. So, what's their take on magic as spicy psychology versus supernatural debate?
Indistinguishable. Moot question.
I agree.
Spicy psychology affects the world. The only thing we know is through spicy psychology, because everything is filtered through our own senses. We're just fucking brains in a jar.
See, I can't. I'm gonna argue about Heidegger in a minute, but me and Matt have at least agreed on the sentiment that no matter what model you pick, it's like, people get really like, oh yeah, it's just psychology, but it's like. Psychology, the metaphysics behind psychology is just as spooky as anything fucking else. So you might as well go for it.
That brings up another pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Which is so weird because I have so few pet peeves. Nothing in the world pisses me off. But see, the way I look at chaos magic, I'm like, yes, I could do this one specific thing through psych, or I could do it with spirit, or I could do it with energy, or I could do, and there are people walking around out there that say, well, no, if it has to do with ghosts, you use spirit. And if it has to do with the way you think about something, you use psych. And then once you start down that road, it's fucking dogma all the way down. It's okay. There's rules for when you're supposed to use which model, which means there's fucking rules, and you're supposed to do it this exact way, and you're supposed to follow the rules, and then it's not even chaos magic anymore.
Nope. Then you've just created dogma with extra steps.
I posit that you should be able to conduct an exorcism with spirit model, with energy model, with psych model, with information model. You should be able to do any fucking magical practice with any of those models.
Yeah, I mean, that's my whole bag about why I rant at people about phenomenology all the time, right? It's like, because if we just want to explain specific phenomena, we can go all we can do is say what the phenomena actually is. And that's a hard enough thing to deal with. But if you want to get into explaining the phenomena, you'd be like, what model do we use to best use it? That's like, no, you fucking pick a model and then you make the phenomena intelligible. You can talk, if you don't want to pick a fucking model for what it is, all you can say is what's actually fucking happening. And if you want to, like I said, if you go anywhere else with that, if you try to tell me that the only way you can explain a phenomena is with a certain fucking model, you're wrong. Yeah. You're not doing chaos magic. You go fuck yourself.
Exactly. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
And I've gotten in fights with a lot of people over that.
Well, again, I've said it before. I will say it again. Fucking, I got the fucking golf club. I will come for some knees for you. All right. So let's see what else we got. Oh, this is a great fucking question.
Fuck.
What do you do when your magic fails? Or does it ever fail?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So far, it has not failed.
Never? You've never had like a failure?
Because it's always a work in progress.
That's what I was going to say.
What I do when it fails is try again, or double down, or fucking try a different way, or try another different way, or try doing more mundane work to go along with it, or you don't just stop. And that's how anyone gets anything. You were talking about how did you teach yourself to do web design when you didn't graduate high school, and I'm talking to you about how the fuck did you just teach yourself all this about audio work and levels and sound systems just because you played the guitar when you were 13. I know a million 13-year-olds who played the guitar and they don't know how to fucking work audio equipment like this. Because some people fucking just keep going. There's this weird fire inside them, and they pick themselves up and they dust themselves off and say, I'm going to try again until I fucking get it right. And that's why my magic always works, because I won't stop until it does.
Yep.
Not because it was fucking good magic. It could fucking fail horrendously, the worst failure you've ever seen, but I'll try again until it doesn't.
Fucking Samuel Beckett, because I always have quotes for things. Samuel Beckett, learn how to fail and learn how to fail better. That's all it fucking comes down to.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to be your fucking answer the minute I read that question, and that's why I wanted to fucking ask it more than anything, because, you want to talk about giving advice to people doing magic? That's what they need to hear. Is like, what do you do when you fail? You fucking
You succeed.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you fucking do. We don't do any. That's in this room. All we do is fucking win.
Yes.
We. That's all we fucking do.
You only lose when you quit. That's why, and someone had to explain it to me. I don't know if it's because I'm fucking recently autistic or what, but like, for the longest, that was my gripe. And then someone pointed out, not everyone can do that, bro. That's a little bit of a you thing. Like, not everyone has that inside them to keep trying forever. Like, their spirit gets crushed and they die inside and they stop trying. But yeah, literally just fucking go like the Energizer Bunny and you'll get whatever the fuck you want. And it sounds stupid and corny like a cliche because your parents told you that when they tucked you in at night and said, oh, if you try hard enough, you could accomplish anything. But literally, fucking don't quit. Even if you never get there, you'll get further than you would have if you quit.
You know, that's the one line about like capitalist bullshit that I really get behind is that, you know, especially in like the left, and I you know, and the right has its own fucking issues. Like, don't get me started on that. But I criticize the left because I'm a fucking leftist, and it's always the do better. You know, I love you guys, so do better.
Yeah.
I love.
You're making me look bad.
Yeah, exactly. You're making me fucking look like an asshole. How am I supposed to go argue with fucking Nazis when you guys are sitting here crying about shit? But it's everyone uses the fact that the world is an incredibly unjust, exploitative place not to do anything. I get it. The world's an incredibly unfair place, and the thing that leftists in particular don't want to hear is that the world's always going to be an unfair place. It's never going to be a paradise. It's never going to be the world where everyone gets everything they fucking deserve. And that's not an excuse not to do things. That's not an excuse not to fucking put in 100 fucking % of your goddamn effort into doing the things that you actually care about in this world.
Especially in the context of chaos magic. Because you should be able to mentally gymnastics that into the reason to do something.
Right. The fact that something seems impossible should not be a deterrent.
Yeah.
In the slightest. Okay, on to the next one. Ooh, this is from one of my favorite fucking people that's going to get interviewed later, and they know who they are. So, do you think in pictures, hear a narrative, think in physical senses? What's going on in there?
Absolutely. I mentioned before, I think that I'm I don't know if we were rolling then, but
no, we were.
Hyperphantasia. Like, opposite of aphantasia. I see things. I can picture things really well. I can have conversations in my head that are 2 or 3 people, 4 people deep. All the senses. I can imagine smells. I can imagine sounds. I can very, very rich internal world, which sometimes extends, so far into fantasy that it's like I'm thinking about shit that doesn't even exist, or places, or, completely fictional things, or characters I've just made up in my head that live on worlds that I just made up in my head. And I can picture things really well in my head. Very visual, very all senses.
This isn't a question from the nuts, but because I was talking to good old Ricky Baker, one of our favorite fucking people between the two of us.
Ricky.
And I asked them about dreams, and I want to ask you just because I'm curious, given your hyper fantasia here. What are your dreams like?
I have all kinds of different dreams. And fun fact, I've never been good at controlling them. So I've heard some people can go do whatever they want in their dreams. Some people can be very lucid in their dreams. Some people can go get shit done, take care of business. And they have this whole dream altar where they go do their dream magic. And it's like, woohoo, 8 hours sleep is 8 extra hours to do magic. I have no control over my dreams, but they're very vivid and they're all over the board from like, okay, this is a dream about me being stuck in another country. Okay, in this dream, I'm not even me, I'm someone else. Okay, in this dream, it's black and white. Okay, in this dream, we're all cartoons. Okay, in this dream, it's like things don't even follow the same laws of physics we have here. It's super fucking weird. So my dreams are like very, very all over the board in that regard. They're not just like, what am I doing today? Oh, it's Matt walking down the street. Oh, and then tomorrow night I'm going to dream Matt was on a roller coaster. It's not even always Matt. I'm someone else. I'm somewhere else. I'm in a different time. there's some weird inception shit sometime where I'm in the dream that I'm having a dream, or whatever. Very all over the board.
You don't have any kind of recurring themes in your dreams at all?
Not really. I mean, sometimes it seems like there's conflict, but like that's welcome to this plane of reality. That's
conflict,
a reoccurring thing everywhere.
Oh man, there's things that are in opposition. Holy fuck! It's like it's like there's a deeper meaning in here. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to ask, just because I was curious about that, because like, I'm a as far as dream analysis, I'm a Lacanian, so like I have this weird sort of Freudian post thing.
I don't know what that means, but maybe it means what I'm about to say. I have a pet peeve about dream analysis.
Ooh.
And that it's generally formulaic, and I don't think people fit into formulas. So like, if you have a book that says if you dream about fucking snakes, it means money is coming your way. Why?
Dude, that's
maybe to you it does, but maybe to me it means this, and maybe to him it means that. And
that is exactly what got me away from fucking Jungian analysis, because specifically alchemy, like Jung's whole theory of alchemy was like complete and utter bullshit to me, because I tried to apply it to my dreams and it didn't make any goddamn sense. And you know what? In fact, I've been having a great time here, so I'm going to lay it all out there.
Do it.
I have some peculiar sexuality sort of things in my life, and I never understood them, and that's what got me into Jesus. Anyway, but that's what got me really into like Freudian analysis and then later Jungian analysis, because I was trying to understand my own, internal psyche, especially in relation to libido and stuff. And it never made any goddamn sense, because, again, I went to Freud, and Freud just told me, like, all it is you want to have sex with your mother. And I was like, I don't think that's the answer, bro. I'm sorry.
Freud.
And then Jung started trying to give me answers about, like, oh, well, there's a deeper spiritual meaning to all of this. I'm like, I don't think that's true either. And it didn't make any sense until I finally heard this guy named Kai Hammerstein give a lecture on the psychic structures in Lacan, and it made perfect sense. It was like, oh fuck, I kind of get this. Of course, later, after reading too much bullshit philosophy, I was like, yeah, I have arguments with Lacan still, but as far as dream analysis goes, it made a lot more sense to me, because it turned from having specific ideas of like, oh, like, this is what this means, and this is what it means too. It's like, none of this means fucking anything specific. I can't just tell you a goddamn dream and get an answer about what it is. It has to do with it's an incredibly internal, individual kind of experience.
Yeah, you can't just look, what does dreaming about snakes mean? You got to look at, what does a snake even mean to you, like, first.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
That's so funny, because I had weird sex stuff, and then I was completely hung up on the psychology of that also, where I was like, why though? What?
Why does this turn me on? Holy fuck! How did I get here?
What leads to this? What is the reason?
Yeah.
I wonder how many people get into psychology for exactly that.
I mean, again, we already made the comment about gross generalizations of people, but I would venture that 90% of people get into psychology just to figure out why the hell they're getting an erection at something.
Yes.
Oh shit! Thank God.
We've been talking so long, and I don't want to stop.
Dude, it's been over 2 hours. This is the longest one I've had yet. And I would keep talking to you. Well, okay. Here, I'll give you the opportunity to say this one, just because it's from Ben, and we love Ben.
We love Ben.
We love Ben. I'd love to know once and for all how magic works. I feel like we ran over this one like 75 times. But if you want to just tell him how magic works, because it's Ben, go for it.
We don't know, but also... step 1, subconscious. Step 2, question marks. Step 3, profit.
Fuck right. How do you pronounce Samhain?
What? I'm sorry, you have to...
Yeah, I will show you.
Samhain?
You know who it's from already.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to their concert, it's Samhain. But if you're going to their bonfire, it's Samhain, I believe, is the golden rule.
No, it's Sui. We figured that. Oh, you don't know. I'll just go ahead and spoil the Halloween episode for you. That's what happens. We fucking because I
ruined a whole word for Halloween.
Yeah, we ruined it. We literally because there's an article about how to celebrate it, and I mentioned that like I actually didn't know how to pronounce it properly because I just seen it written so many times. And she's like, "Well, how do people pronounce it?" And she's like, "Because I always heard it was Samhain."
It's not Samhain, really.
Well, that's what she said. You know?
Fuck.
So, but so then it just turned into like fucking because I mispronounce it like 5 more times, and I go like Sui, and then
Sui.
Yep.
That's the correct. That's the one.
Yep. And then by the end of it, by the time the episode comes out, I'm just gonna edit in somebody going Sui every time I say it. It's gonna be fucking great. Okay. Let's see. Ooh. Real quick, I have to ask you because you would know. Pentagram Sam. That's just Will Moore, right?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
The only thing I know for sure is that Will Moore is Christine Baker. No.
God damn it, it's so funny and I have to edit it out, but god damn it.
No, you can leave it in because I'll follow up by saying Will Moore is not Christine Baker.
No, well, I don't know if you saw it, but I said I'm Christine Baker and Will Moore and Pentagram Sam and Joey Farr.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't know I don't even know that I've seen them, so I might have blocked them years ago and forgotten in my
I'm 90% sure it's Will Moore because only Will Moore has like those shitty memes with the terrible fonts. Well, correction,
I
the
don't know.
great memes with the shitty fonts, actually. But okay, they ask them how to extinguish twin flames and if it leaves a rash.
Jesus Christ, this is just a pet peeve episode.
Do you have a problem with twin flames?
I have a problem with lots of things that don't exist. I have a problem with leprechauns. I have a problem with unicorns. I have a problem with dragons.
What is it about the twin flame concept that really fucking gets you then?
Just the idea of it and should be self-evidently dumb on the face of it.
Right.
It's like God. Like, you would have to be raised in that to believe it. And if you weren't, which not a lot of people who believe in twin flame, how did you get there? How did you get to the place that you're in if on the face of it it's stupid? Have you ever met another person? Have you ever experienced what they're like? They weren't meant for you.
So soulmates probably pisses you off too then, huh?
It's the same thing. It's
Right.
just the new agey. It's so.
I'm telling you, there's one person out there that's gonna make
It's
your
not
whole life
even.
okay.
See, the thing that gets me is they're gonna think that I'm saying this for the wrong reason. They're gonna think this guy hates the idea of love or something.
right.
No, the reason it's stupid is because it's a lot of work. Like, have you ever been in a relationship? It's nothing was meant to be. You have to make it fucking be.
Oh God, right?
Yeah, right? It doesn't just, you're not going to meet one person where it's, and I mean, as evidence of that, everyone who I've met who does believe in twin flames say that they're a fucking nightmare. So words have to mean something. Again, how can they be perfect for you and a fucking nightmare at the same time?
Oh, they're my twin flame. It's okay that they sold my fucking car for crack money.
Right? Right. No, nothing's meant to be. If you want something to be, you have to go out there and mean it to be.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're married, you have children,
Yes.
like, let's be honest.
Everything is hard.
It's incredibly hard. Again, I've been in a long-term relationship with a person that I fucking love, and every goddamn day, honestly,
hard.
there's a struggle where I have to be like, I fucking love this person, so I'm gonna do what I think is fucking right in that situation. You can't just be like, oh, well, we're meant to be together. It's gonna be fine. Like, fuck no.
Right.
The minute you decide that everything's gonna be fine in a relationship is the minute that fucking shit goes completely fucking south.
Yeah. Twin flames is like, I don't know, translation, I'm so in love I can't see any of his flaws. or whatever.
No, it's even worse than that. It's I've decided that this is the person that I'm going to put all my effort into.
Yeah. Oof.
And I'm not going to put that much effort.
Yeah. It's just too, I don't know. It's one of those things where exhaust mundane options first kind of thing. Maybe you should just work on having a good relationship instead of
get a Tinder profile
saying they're twin flames, or it's in God's hands, or it's in love spell, or Aphrodite, or maybe you should just fucking be considerate to them and put some work into the thing.
Maybe just treat them like a human being and deal with your own fucking problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe don't come home drunk at 4 a.m. and puke on the fucking floor and be like, we're twin flames, so she'll deal with it.
Unless that's her fetish. Then you have to.
Yeah. That's the only consideration.
Puke on the floor.
Relationships. Yes. Okay.
Even if you aren't even in the mood to puke right then. Make it happen, Cap.
Oh my god, I fucking love you. You have no idea. Okay.
I feel like
another
stronger.
question from the lovely Ricky Baker. If it came down to a wizard battle between Freud and Jung, who would win and why?
Between Freud and Jung, I would say Jung would win, because if they were battling, his book is about this like 8.5 feet by 4 feet wide, and he could just bludgeon his opponent with the fucking book. Have you seen the red book?
Oh god,
it's as big as this couch I'm sitting on.
That's the problem. He would just take he wouldn't even need the red book. He would take all the black books and just drop them on him immediately.
The red book is so fucking big, I had to get a different kind of bookshelf. Like the real one with all the art and shit.
Yeah,
it's big. It's enormous. You need a special reading thing to hold it, to read it.
Yeah, that's
you look like a fucking insane person if you try to hold this in front. Can you imagine holding this on like the subway? You're like, la-di-da, I just like to pretend that I'm tiny by holding a big book. Like, everyone look at me with my comically big book. Looks like a fucking clown. It's a clown book. It's as big as the world.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he would win the wizard's battle because he could just fucking gentle breeze could hit that book and it would crush his opponent when it fell over.
Oh man, you think civilization its discontents is big? Fucking wait till the red book. He's just gonna close it on you. He's not even gonna fucking turn to a page.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the official CMN answer.
It's so big. Porn meme.
The official CMN answer as Lacanians is that Jung would win, but then Lacan would come in with the chair.
Fair.
Oh god. Okay. Okay. Here's an interesting one.
I love how good all these are.
Right.
Bro, when I asked for questions for Johnny D. Ferris interview, it was like, how big is your wiener? I'm like, come on, guys. It's a fucking interview.
I mean, well, how big is your wiener?
It's like 8.5. Really trying. 8 normally.
But no, see, everyone asks about length, but we're talking about the real question people need to ask is girth.
I mean, it's proportionate. It's not like a big weird needle.
It's not like a cheese wheel?
I don't know that I've ever measured the girth. But it's not, it's not like...
You've clearly never had a chastity device then. Okay.
My chastity device is my rampant unpopularity in high school.
Oh god, I have a
my attitude is my chastity.
I have a terrible joke to do here, but I no one else is gonna find it funny, but I find it funny because I was around band kids when I was in fucking high school.
I was a band kid.
What'd you play?
Trombone.
Why did I ask that? I knew that intuitively.
You can just tell.
I mean,
it's like better than astrology. That's a fucking saxophone guy. You're a fucking trumpet. Yeah.
Oh, no, okay, I gotta ask you then, what instrument did I play then?
Percussion?
No, it was trumpet.
Oh.
But I was only in band for 1 year.
Well, see,
Because then I decided, I'm gonna go play the guitar.
Oh, see, that's why. You're not a real trumpet, you're a guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the guitar rising, and your trumpet was in your 6th house.
Oh my fucking god. No, see, that's the new thing you're gonna have on your fucking on the Trinary app. Like, what band kid were you? Oh my god.
Oh, you know what? I should get with Pokemancer and put some Pokemancy on there.
Yes.
Why do I not have Poke? Oh, because I get sued by Pokemon, probably.
I mean, yeah, but
I don't know why that just popped in my head as things
well,
I should put on there.
You're right. Nintendo is pretty lawsuit heavy. You know what you could do, because they're actually gotten really lax on copyright stuff, is you could do like a Sega thing. You could just be like, which Sonic the Hedgehog? You could just be like, are you a Knuckles? Are you a Tails?
You know what's annoying?
What?
As a content creator, I can like work my ass off on something like Trinary, and it won't get as many clicks as like, take this quiz to find out what Sonic Hedgehog character you are.
I mean, yeah.
Like,
But that's the
why are people drawn to stupid and no way from smart? I don't understand it.
Well, okay, here we're gonna go completely away from the questions from the nuts here, but I'm curious because we already talked about magic and fiction, right?
Yeah.
But pop culture as magic, right? Like what do you think is the drive that brings us to pop culture? How does that relate to magic per se? Because especially like people like Grant Morrison, who we've already talked about on the show, and I will still stand by what I said. Luda sucks, but people like Grant Morrison, and even earlier in Chaos Magic, people were really big into like, oh, I'm gonna fucking invoke Superman as a solar archetype. Like what really drives people in pop culture to what drives them towards those sorts of ideas, and how does that relate back to magic, you think?
I can only speak for myself on that because I don't know what draws anybody else to it. But the way I look at things is very, and a lot of things, not just this, but like time marches on in a way. You have to take into consideration like what was pop culture when the Greek pantheon was mainstream. The Greek pantheon. So why are we still talking about that and not also the present? And when you emulate, and it goes back to the whole traditional thing, and the fucking people pissing me off saying you have to hand draw your sigils because apps don't work or whatever. It's like, no, the things that you're fetishizing as being what works are what was cutting edge, state of the art when they wrote it down, and you're looking at an old book. So the question becomes like relativism, like, okay, are you being like them and are you doing what they do to exactly do what they do? Or are you being like them and doing what they do by doing what's cutting edge and what's state of the art now instead of back when they wrote that? And that goes back to like everything. People, unless you're doing a cave painting, a pencil is technology. It came off of a fucking assembly line. A pen is, Photoshop is, all the way up to app. People say, no, you have to do it by hand. Well, what's by hand? It's a fucking Bic pen. Have you ever tried to write with a quill? It's really fucking hard. You're holding a state-of-the-art Bic fucking pen.
Well, again, someone had to go and fucking get that goddamn quill and make it right. Someone had to make the fucking ink.
Yeah.
As someone with a very particular view about what quote-unquote technology is, because to rant about Heidegger again, because goddamn, Final Fantasy VII is the shit.
I mean, it really is.
It fucking...
Red 13 fucking had me in tears with his father.
Real quick, then I'll go into my bit about technology. Who's your favorite Final Fantasy VII character?
Probably Red 13.
Yeah.
That's some pretty good shit.
Red's fucking awesome.
I love the fact that he was the best character anyway, objectively. And I also love the fact that they were able to do that, and he was like literally a fucking dog, like, which I've always been like, why aren't there more? I mean, not like I'm a furry or anything, but like, why are games so formulaic where you're always a human? Why can't you play a game where you're a fucking dog and you go do dog shit? And they have some of that now where you're a cat, I think, or something, or you're a fish. And
you're talking about Stray, yeah.
Yeah. But for so long, it's like, oh, look how creative we are. You're in space now, and you're in the medieval times now. That's
I hate to do this, but I can talk about Heidegger in both of those instances, right? Fucking humanism is rampant in our world. That's all we fucking talk about is fucking humanism. And the problem with humanism is ultimately that when you come up with an idea about what it is to be
quote unquote human, you naturally exclude something. And I think I think beings, quote unquote, have enough of a multiplicity that there's no way you can define what it is to be human, quote unquote, without excluding someone or excluding at least some way that there are. And that's totally why, especially why RPGs have this sort of bend. Like, you never play as a fucking cat. You never play as a dog. You never play as something that's not human, at least in a certain kind of way. It's naturally kind of an exclusionary process. They want to give you something that you can quote unquote relate to. But you have no fucking idea. I might totally relate to just being a goddamn dog. You don't know me.
Right? There's that guy who went on a vacation by being a goat for 6 weeks or whatever, and he got his goat suit and ate grass in the Alps. But the way you're looking at me, you haven't seen that.
I haven't, but that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, he was in the news or whatever because he got this special suit made where he could walk on all fours because our limbs aren't the right ratio to do that. And he just fucking hung out with a bunch of goats and he ate grass.
That's fucking awesome. Could he digest the grass properly?
I mean, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
He's probably just happy to be eating grass.
Anyway, on to my rant about technology, right?
Uh-huh.
Technology isn't about whether or not it was made by human hands or developed in a, like a productive kind of way or an industrial kind of way. Technology is about framing. It's about the way technology works is that it's, and I'm too fucking drunk to explain this properly. You hear
Or
him
not
laugh
drunk
because he
enough.
knows. But the way technology works is about taking being, the world as it exists, and making it stand reserve, as Heidegger puts it. Basically, the idea is that you can take everything that exists and just formulate it into a way that it's like, oh, this exists, so I can use it to do something. In that sort of sense, chaos magic is sort of like a very complex, interesting way of technological and framing, right?
Yeah.
Which is part of my big critique of it, because as someone whose big thing is meaning, I can rant about meaning forever, but in the most basic sense, meaning is intelligibility. Meaning is being able to understand something in a way. Being able to take something that if you just looked at it as like quote unquote objective kind of way, it would be completely meaningless, and give it like a meaning. Make it make sense in a sort of way. That's sort of my big critique of chaos magic, is that I feel like it's ultimately trying to just turn everything into, well, what can I do with it? That's a problem for me in the way, because I've only, my big thing about the world is trying to make it meaningful. If we look at chaos magic as what the fuck can I do with everything around me, it falls back onto, oh, well, I'm just trying to get things. I'm just trying, and I don't want to turn people into magical consumers, as it were.
Right. Interesting fun fact. I got into chaos magic mainly because of the left hand. What can you do for me lately? And I found it really was true that if you go far enough down the left path, you end up on the right path. Like,
Right.
I got into right-hand path magic via the journey I went on down the left-hand path.
And yeah, I mean, and that's sort of my big thing, I think, is that ultimately, I don't want to make big grandiose statements here, but I will say that as far as I understand morals, as far as I understand ethics, as far as I understand greater purpose in the world, it's not about having a objective standard or something specific you can point at and be like, this is the purpose. This is what we're doing. It's about the journey towards that. Cornel West has this quote about how you never reach capital T truth. It's all about, it's a Sisyphean journey towards truth. And that's sort of how I feel about ethics. That's how I feel about justice. That's how I feel about all these sort of things. What keeps me at chaos magic is the fact that we don't have a better answer. And I don't know if we're ever going to have a better answer. And until we do, I'm going to stay a fucking chaos magician. Because if we don't, if we look at the world with some sort of dogma of this is what you should do, even as far as just magic, like this is what magic is supposed to be for, you're only going to leave yourself with some sort of exclusionary area, right? It's only going to end up with you saying that, I shouldn't do X because of Y, and completely forgetting about Z, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think what you said you don't like that about chaos magic is there's no like meaning. That for me, that's a feature instead of a bug. I love that about it.
That there's no meaning?
Yeah. Because like what's a good way to explain it? Say you join a cult and they say the world's going to end on January the 1st. And then you wake up on January 2nd and the world hasn't ended. Kind of takes the allure and the mystique out of the whole thing, right?
Right.
So if there was a meaning, it would eventually get proved wrong, I think. Like that's the shit part about dogma is you eventually prove it wrong. Like it can't be true because it's not. Nothing is. So the fact that it's more like a gun or a stick or a screwdriver where it's like the meaning is on the individual. It can be great if you use it, or it could be bad if I use it, or if you use it to do something good. So your morals and your own personal code still come into play. It's not good or bad. It's, you can use it to do good or you can use it to do bad. It's more of a method. That's what makes it work for me. Because if it had a meaning, I would find out 6 years from now that the meaning is wrong, and then I would have to stop doing it. So it's kind of a marketing thing, too. I feel like it's hard to quit chaos magic the way they laid it out so broadly. Like, even if I said, fuck this, I'm going to go become a Christian, I couldn't help see that as I'm paradigm shifting, and fuck, I'm still doing chaos magic. Like,
everyone, I hope you realize that Matt just solved a fucking issue for me. Right here.
You're welcome.
Right on the fucking interview. Because I have a whole thing about equipment, right? Like that's a sort of Heideggerian idea, right? That the way we deal with the world is as equipment, quote unquote. The whole of the world exists as a totality of relation between things and entities and objects, as it were. Object isn't the word that Heidegger would use, but, just for the simplicity's sake here. The floor appears and reveals itself as something to walk. The door reveals itself as something to open. And honestly, what Matt just showed me was that chaos magic's sort of the same way. It's like chaos magic isn't a place to look for meaning in the sense of a final answer to all of life's problems, but chaos magic appears as something that is something to use in the Cornell West sort of pursuit of truth kind of idea. It's like, will you find an answer by doing chaos magic? Probably not. But can you keep going in the pursuit of an answer? Definitely. Oh, man. I could fucking cry right now. So
I cry all the time. There's no shame in that.
In order to get away from the horrifying existential quandary that we've delved ourselves into here, another question from the nuts.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible that various expressions of demonic consciousness and their significant influence over occult literature are keeping practitioners bound by lower/less functional expressions of our potential, such as a lack of individual liberty? Do you want to read that for yourself?
I don't engage in questions that come from the satanic panic. So we would have accepted no.
I feel like this is a great question only because it's sort of laying out like what kind of fucking crazy shit you can get into if you start believing in certain fucking nonsense. It's like,
yeah, I mean, it's a great case study. Is that what you mean?
It's like, where do you want to begin with here? Like, demonic consciousness. Like,
fucking...
First of all, if you think you know what that means, you're in the wrong line of fucking work.
Right.
Nothing says nothing is true like I know exactly what demonic consciousness is and how it works, and I understand. No, you fucking don't. You're in some other kind of magic if you think you know how demonic consciousness works.
Yeah, like what the... I mean, honestly, from a chaos magic perspective, what is a demon?
Anything.
Anything. Anything's a fucking demon. It's like, fucking, like, oh man, my boss is being an asshole to me. Yeah, it's because he's got a demon.
Yeah, or it's because he's got a complex, or it's because he's got a fucking blockage, or it's because he's got a fucking glitch. Like, pick your model.
Right, yeah. I mean, what the fuck is a demon in a chaos magic sense? Like, you can't come up with any fucking answer. Because to make a fucking demon, you have to have a fucking model that says something is demonic and something is not demonic, right?
Angelic. I feel like the question comes from a very Hollywood understanding of what a demon is. They're these evil, bad guys who want to trick you into turning away from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
To simplify the question, I think what they're asking is sort of like...
It was a long question. To be fair, whoever you are, I'm sorry. I may have...
Yeah, we're not trying to insult you personally.
I may have misunderstood your question. It was very long.
What I think they're trying to get at is like, is there a certain subset of magical literature that's trying to keep people like closed off?
I mean, you could say that's anything but chaos magic was kind of traditionally the thing that has the gates that need keeping.
That's sort of the circle we've been going around in this whole fucking conversation, right? Is that anything but chaos magic will tell you certain answers for these kind of issues. Chaos magic is the only thing that's going to tell you that the only way you can find any sort of quote-unquote answer for anything is to just do it and see what happens.
That's science, bro.
Yeah, I mean, fucking...
That's why I love it, because I fucking love science. If you say anything is an objective truth, you know what, 200 years ago, the earth was flat was an objective truth. It will be fucking wrong on a long enough timeline. But if you say, I don't know, you're right. That's the only thing you can say, that you'll always be right.
Well, you know what? Here's my big thing. You know, I wasn't going to get into it, but we talked about science enough that I have to fucking argue about it, right?
Yes. I love arguing.
This is my big anti-science thing where everyone tells me that I'm a fucking anti-masker and I fucking believe in all sorts of fucking terrible shit, right?
I'll tell you that too.
I know
before I even know what it says.
But, so, science has metaphysical presuppositions, right? Because the entire pursuit of science is the idea that you can separate what we experience, quote unquote, from what the actual world is. Again, to bang back against Descartes, the reason we can have science is because we have the idea that there is a subjective entity in here that experiences the representations of the world. And if you go through the proper channels and processes, you can separate what is subjective from what is quote-unquote objective and external. There's a world outside of what we perceive and what we deal with that we can talk about. Too drunk to properly go through all the channels here. But...
the best way, though.
I know, right? Well, I mean, the best part about me being a little too drunk is that I'm willing to just be like, you know what, I can't explain this 100% properly, but I need to talk to Matt about this.
That's been the story of the show. There's been so many times that I'm thinking in my head, what the fuck was I talking about? How did I... this related to what? What am I even talking about? Fuck, I've had too many White Claws.
I guess what I want to ask you is science just another fucking paradigm as far as, you know, like if we're talking about a chaos magic, is science just another fucking paradigm?
It depends what you mean by science, because there's different sciences. There's science the ideal and the science the reality. The ideal of science says we should go investigate Bigfoot and we should go investigate UFOs and we should go investigate psychic phenomena and stuff. But the reality is you'll get laughed out of science if you try to do any of those things too much, maybe. I mean...
right. Yeah,
right.
like, you know,
so there's
scientific
like
phenomena
Yeah.
as it were. What's that fucking dude's name? Do you know the guy that was like his whole bag was just like he's saying that I will give you like a fucking
Randy?
Randy, yeah, James Randy. Yeah, like his whole bag was just being like, if you fucking think that they're psychic phenomena and you can prove it, I'll give you a shit ton of money. If you look at like what he apparently actually did, it's not quite so objective and scientific. He was totally willing to just be like, I don't fucking think that any of this shit is real, so fuck you.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever well, okay, I'll say this, and I don't mean this in an insulting way. I know you've never read it yourself, but have I ever ranted at you about Thomas Kuhn?
Probably, but I just try to tune you out.
That's the second time he's made that joke, and I'm still laughing at it, folks. But okay, Kuhn had a book called The Structure of Scientific Revolutions.
Uh-huh.
And Kuhn's whole theory, in a drunken sense right now, was that science doesn't function by coming up with quote-unquote truth. Science functions in the same way that chaos magic functions, by creating paradigms. And then when the paradigms fail to substantially articulate phenomena and what's being studied, paradigms change. And that was his whole idea of like the shift between Newtonian, Euclidean geometry and like Newtonian physics and such.
Yeah.
And and Kuhn's big thing was that science wasn't about getting to truth. Science was about creating paradigms that allowed for predictive results, as it were. And how much of I guess in the spirit of talking shit about James Randi there, but it's like how much of
like James Randi.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, even though like you said, he was kind of like the Grinch who stole magic. He's needs to be done in a certain, because some of those people are just selling snake oil and shit, and you gotta at some point say, all right, fucking prove it.
Oh, know? Yeah, I mean, Uri Geller can go fuck himself. Yeah. Like, I'm with you there.
I'm a huge fan of Houdini, and one of his biggest things, I'm sure you know, was debunking spiritualists who were preying on fucking grieving survivors.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why, like, when Houdini died, he was like, all right, fine, if there's fucking, like, if there's an afterlife here, fucking, I will come back and tell you this shit. Go do the fucking Ouija board nonsense for me when I'm dead.
He had a secret password so that if a spiritualist said to his wife that, hey, I contacted him, she'd be like, what's the password? Oh, yeah. You didn't think we thought of that, did you?
Yeah. Well, but I guess that's what I'm getting at here, too, is like this sort of, because, I mean, again, I'm not an anti-science person. In fact, like, one of my favorite things about, Herbert Dreyfus, when he was talking about Heidegger, was that so many people think Heidegger is like an anti-science kind of person. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, Heidegger's totally telling you that you can have science and you should have science. But, but the reason for that is that Heidegger isn't concerned about what science is trying to tell you about the world. Heidegger's far more concerned about how we actually exist, quote unquote, in the world. Which is, why I think Heidegger and magic go fucking hand in hand. Because magic isn't about telling you. The reason that I don't worry about whether science can disprove magic is because I'm not invested in whether there's a scientific solution for fucking magic.
Yeah.
Again, you could fucking tell me any goddamn rationale as to why this fucking shit works, and I don't give a shit. As long as it fucking works. But the big issue being that, like, how far does science go before it turns back into just dogma,
I think it's always growing. And so the line of when it's dogma is always moving. Because today, you can't do magic. But 700 years from now, they may be like, we figured that out 500 years ago. We know exactly how magic works. And it's right here on the fucking magicometer can measure it. Like
the magicometer. Oh, God. I've had too many good band names from what you said now. Magicometer's going to definitely be in there.
That's the Ghostbusters paradigm. That science and magic fucking hold hands, and you can measure it, and that there is, if you were smart enough, there's no magic that you can't fit in the science box.
Well, I mean, you know the Terry Pratchett quote, right? You know that any
Sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic.
Yep, and the reverse is true.
One of the probably the smartest fucking scientific things, and he wasn't even a scientist, right?
Yeah. Fucking love it. All right, here. We'll give you... Well, you know what? Because this goes right into what you were saying. This will be the nice last question to end on. Is chaos magic evolving, or do we need to move on?
Oh, that is another pet peeve of mine. I'm beginning this... Tonight I've learned that I have a pet peeve about everything. There's this thing where people... that's almost as popular as the question where people are like, is chaos order and is order chaos? People love to say, is chaos magic too stagnant, or is chaos magic evolving? Or
I've been guilty of it myself.
I mean, it's a fair... You can't be into anything long enough without asking it, I guess. But the thing that gets me about it is that... And I kind of touched on this earlier, but the way the concept of chaos magic was developed is why it's still around. It's very... Whoa, we're not going to say anything too specific. Or it'll be proven wrong. So,
right.
Yeah, so it's too broad to ever go out of style. It doesn't need to evolve because there's almost nowhere you can go because it's such a simple thing. Go try it, and if it doesn't work, try something else. When is that going to go out of style? When are we going to evolve past... We're never, because it's a basic fucking... When we were primates and we couldn't get the food out of the fucking tree one way, we tried another way. Like, fuck around and find out is where it's at. TCB, baby.
Yeah, right.
We're never gonna evolve the past. Try something different until you find the thing that works. That is such a basic concept. So chaos magic, it at its core, is such a simple human nature, common sense kind of thing. That no, it's never going to evolve, and it's not because it's stagnant. It's not because it's stupid or it doesn't have the ability for growth. It's never going to evolve kind of in a good way because it's so fundamentally useful. I'm not going to say true.
Right. How are you going to get beyond causation, right? How are you going to get beyond I do something and then something happens?
Yeah.
If you can do that, if you can tell me, if you can explain to me how that's going to happen, I'll agree with you on this premise. But no, you're entirely right there. Like, how the fuck are you going to get beyond if I do something, things happen as a result? And like I said, smarter people than me will fucking come up with some rationale behind that. And when they do, I'll read their books or read their fucking essays and be like, oh, maybe there's something here. But, get at me when you get beyond that. And once you do, yeah, we can talk. But until then, chaos magic is where it's at. We even said that in the first episode of the podcast. Well, fucking my co-host did. They made the comment that, like, the reason chaos magic, why you should care about chaos magic at this point still, is that there's no level of innovation. There's no level of what you're doing beyond fucking chaos magic at this point. All you have besides chaos magic is older, stuffy rogue traditions telling you that this is how shit works and this is how shit doesn't work, and if you think this is how shit works, then you're wrong. Anyone who's fucking super goddamn intelligent listening to this podcast right now, just get at me and Matt.
It's no one.
Oh yeah, no. They're all no one's listening. We're just doing this for our pleasure at this point. But any of these people, if you can come up with some rationale as to why, causation itself is no longer something to worry about, then maybe we can talk to you. But until then, get down with chaos magic.
Yeah, dogmas evolve. Dogmas grow because they keep getting proven wrong and they have to fix their shit. They're like, Mormons are all about polygamy. Whoa, not so popular anymore. We evolved our paradigm and we're not about polygamy anymore. Or the world is flat. Oh, fuck, now it's round. That's not to say science is stupid, because that's like the big gotcha they always have. Oh, you keep changing your mind. It's because they learn more. But, yeah, there's nowhere for chaos magic to evolve because it doesn't assert anything. It has no claims.
Yeah.
So it can't change its views. It has no views. It's like a method.
Right. Chaos magic isn't telling you how things work or why things work. It's just telling you that if you do this, something will happen.
Or do something.
Yeah, do something.
It doesn't even tell you what to do.
Well, right, yeah. It doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't tell you how to do it. It just tells you if you do something, something will happen. And if you fucking refine that, if you keep doing things and seeing what happens as a result, that's really the end game there, because it's chaos magic has just gone to the ultimate extreme of as far back as cavemen were, or fucking as thing. It's like if you do something, something fucking happens as a result.
And it's funny because there's two ways to take that, because a lot of people would say that it's like cocky or narcissistic for me to be like, oh, well, yeah, there's nowhere for chaos magic to go. It is the fucking end all be all. It will never, there's no need for it to grow or evolve or to, but it's not. It's because it's so fucking simple. It's not because it's like fucking genius or the best of the best of the best. I mean, genius is in simplicity. It's not that it's so holier than thou is why, you can't get any better than this. It's the best, buddy. It's because it's so fucking basic. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Do the thing. Go do a thing.
Wow. I mean, this has honestly been the best interview I've had so far. And it goes back to the same reason that chaos magic is still so fucking important and so fundamental. It's because we didn't sit here trying to talk about super high-minded ideas. We didn't try to explain anything. All we have left you with, fair listener, is do a thing.
Go do the thing.
Go do the thing. And with that, I think we gotta fucking end it here, as much as I don't want to.
I know, I could go till dawn, but I have a 2-hour drive ahead of me, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning right now.
Yeah, well, as much as I really don't want you to leave me, this has been Chaos Magic News, the only media outlet telling you to just go do a thing.
Go do the thing.
Go do the thing.
Do it.
As always, you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. You can check out chaosmagic.com or chaosmagicnews.com. Don't go to chaosmagic.com.
No, what have you done?
Time.
What have you done?
You will have a terrible fucking... go to chaosmagicnews.com. Oh, God. And I've said it before, but other people might not know this. Matt was the one who really got chaosmagicnews.com up and running because, again, he is the biggest fucking supporter of all of this shit. And we didn't just interview him as a token of love for doing that. We interviewed them because they're fucking amazing. And if you don't believe that by the end of this interview, I don't have anything else to tell you. Well, as usual, we're going to give Matt the last word here. So what would you like to say?
I would like to shout out to my peeps. So Christine Baker, Narcoleptic Goddess, go follow her meme magic, her shadow work. Octavia Saturday is the greatest living tarot card reader of this age. Check out the artwork of Andu, Abril. These are all wonderful people who keep me alive by supporting me. And of course, CMN and my good buddy, Sadomasochist Kennedy.
The worst part is Sadomasochist Kennedy is like the most real one of all of those stupid silly names. Like it's so unfortunate that's
his actual legal name.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank all of you for listening, and we will see you next time. Oh my God. I fucking love you, Matt. I hope you know that.
I love me too.